There we go. Look at that. The camera's turned on now. Alrighty, so hello everyone. I'm Tim from Tim's PC and I build custom PCs to suit anyone's needs or budget. Also live stream my builds and repairs for transparency and educational purposes. So if you'd like to get an awesome new PC and you'd like to see it put together live, send me a message today. Okay, I just realised I have not messaged the customer that we are starting the live stream. Where is he? Sorry about this. How quickly can I type a link to my YouTube channel? That quick. Alright. So, we're going to be building a pretty similar rig to the other night. So, like in terms of specs, we got a 12400, we got an RTX 4070 Super. The main difference that we're going to be looking at here tonight is we've got a pretty cool cooler here. Don't mind the sticker that's been ripped off it. It's got an addressable screen on it, so they always look really sharp. I've actually got the exact same AIO in my personal rig at the moment. So yeah, I mean it's a good cooler. I can't fault it in any way. I've got different fans on there. I've had a few random issues with the fans, but it's not so much the fault of the fans, and it's how many USB 2 devices I had connected. But I've got a special controller for USB 2 that helps me sort of run lots and lots of fans all at once through USB 2. So look, that's conversation for another day. We don't have to worry about that with our build here tonight, because we just got standard RGB fans on this version of the cooler. We don't have anything super fancy. Alright, so we'll go through the specs and we'll jump right into it. So we got a 12400F 6-core 12-thread CPU. We have a 32GB kit of 6000 MHz CL36 memory. We got a 1TB NVMe SSD. We've got the Gigabyte B760 Gaming Wi-Fi Plus. We have the PNY RTX 4070 Super. We have the TH240 V2, I think it's called. And we got a 650 watt ATX 3.1 power supply there from Cooler Master. And our case, we got a new case. What is this one? This is the Antec NX416L case. So it comes with three pre-installed fans. You got two 140s at the front and one 120 at the back there. So that looks pretty good. And we've also got a nice little door on it. So that's pretty cool. You can mount 360mm radiator up top as a maximum. You could mount 360 to the front as well, but you'd be taking off those two 140mm fans that are pre-installed. You've got room to mount another two fans at the bottom there if you want. It looks like there's room to mount fans on the side. So I think there's a sort of a blanking panel in there at the moment. But if you come around the back here, you'll see that there's room there for some fans there on the side. So we'll have a look at that when we're fitting it out. But it looks like there'll be, you know, a potential for up to what, 11 fans in this case. 2 on the bottom, 1 on the back, 3 on the top, 3 on the front, 2 on the side. I think that's 11. Correct me if I'm wrong. the 9 plus the 2 on the wall. Alright. So let's get stuck right into it. Alright.
What?
Oh, I dropped the motherboard. It slipped out of my hand and it landed like that. Oh no, it's broken. I've completely fucked it now. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It'll take more than it being dropped from 4 centimeters high onto a empty cardboard box to really do any damage to a motherboard. While I suggest you handle them with care, they're not like, it's not like made of, it's not like fine china or anything like that, you know. It's not gonna sort of shatter in your hands. But obviously, yeah, don't chuck them across the room. Don't play don't play catch with them.
Please don't do that.
I know, it's not mine. Okay. So we don't need this cooler for the CPU. This is purely aesthetics. But it makes it easy if, oh, what am I doing? I'm getting out the wrong cooler. It makes it easy if you want to upgrade your CPU at a later date. Because you already have this cooler, so you could plug in a much higher power CPU. Though, you know, with your 4070 Super, there's only so much extra performance you could get out of a new CPU. I would probably suggest that if you wanted to upgrade, maybe consider selling what you have here and then putting money into a new rig. Because, right, if you upgrade the CPU to get the full benefit of that CPU upgrade, you'd put a higher powered graphics card in as well. And if you're gonna swap out and buy more expensive graphics card and CPU, they're the two most expensive, typically the two most expensive components in a gaming PC. So by the time you buy those two components, you've bought 60% or more of a new system most of the time. So when you have a mid-range gaming PC and you wanted to go from mid-range up to high end, that's part of what you need to consider there. The thing is, you gotta also weigh up the fact that tech always depreciates. It always goes down. It's like cars. When you buy a car, you know, pretty much as soon as you take it off the lot, it's not worth as much as when it was brand new. And every month, you know, a new car comes out from a competitor that's, you know, slightly better than what you've got there, and the price of your car used gets lower and lower and lower. Same thing happens with tech. So you've always got to sort of weigh that up, you know. If I hold on to this PC for, you know, for another 3 years, you know, I'll probably lose another, you know, whatever off the price. Whereas if I sold it, you know, within 3 years, you sort of retain usually about 70-80% of your value after 3 years. By 5 years, you're looking at like, you know, 30-40% of what you paid new by that stage. So yeah, this is just ballpark. You know, if you buy all high-end stuff, that can hold its value a little bit better than cheaper stuff, just because it's got the name or whatever. Okay. Alright, cooler time. How cool is that? Not very cool? Okay. Okay, so you get a couple of different back plates here. You got a LGA 1200, LGA 1700. You have the Intel bracket there. You get a splitter, RGB splitter, USB 2 cable. You got your AMD bracket. You got your AMD bolts. Oh no, these bolts are universal. Well, these pieces here are AMD. What are these for? Okay. That's the bolts we need. These are the LGA 1200 bolts. Everyone needs these. Okay. So we got 220mm ARGB fans there. Okay, so you start with the back plate, remove the cover on the tape, and then that will just slot in just like that. Oh, it's making better contact. So it should look like that on the back there, just to give you the right idea. And then we got these pieces here. Make sure you get the correct ones. If you don't use the correct bolts, you could end up cracking your motherboard when you tighten stuff down. It's really important that you use the correct bolts. Okay, so that is all ready as far as the motherboard end of things goes. Now we can turn our attention to the cooler. Okay, so like I said, we got the addressable screen there on this cooler, so, you know, that's pretty cool. Sorry, do you like my dad jokes? Probably not.
No. No.
She doesn't like my dad jokes.
Well, dad jokes are lame. They're not even funny.
Fucking thanks, right? You hear this shit?
He does suck.
Okay. So we got this cable coming off the pump there. It looks like a fan cable there, but that's actually the power cable for the pump. Obviously the pump there moves the liquid through the radiator and circulates it around. The fans are attached to the radiator, which cools the liquid down. So it's functionally, it's a heat transfer device. It transfers heat from the CPU and it'll push it out the top of the case. So it's good because the graphics cards that you plug into a modern PC, they're usually pretty high powered and they usually get fairly warm. So having the CPU heat just pushed straight out the top of the case, not being expelled inside the case, works a little bit better. It helps with, you know, temperatures, not like, you know, your immediate temperatures. I'm talking about temperatures after you've been gaming for like 4 or 5 hours, that sort of thing. So you might think, oh yeah, I don't need a liquid cooler or something like that, but yeah, you might, depending on the hardware that you plug into it, it might make more or less sense. So what do you reckon? I reckon something like that. We'll do that for the orientation. Okay, so we do need to install an additional cable here. This is where it gets a little bit fun for someone who hasn't done this before. Okay. So we only need the one USB 2 cable here, and so that plugs into the top there. I'm gonna make sure that the cable's sort of tucked under the arm there, just sort of keeps it neater. Okay. So these bolts here are really good because they won't allow you to tighten more than a certain amount, so it puts just the right amount of pressure onto it. So when you feel it stop, stop. Do not try to over tighten these more than that. Once you get to that point where you can feel the resistance, that's the point at which it is tight. Tightening it further than that can actually weaken the thread, and it could actually lead to it being less tight. So just be aware of that. So we'll probably hook this one up to our CPU header. That felt. Oh, that's all right. Okay. So that's all sorted there, and so this is how it'll look inside the case. So this edge here is the back. Alright, so we got our fans here. So our fans have relatively short cables coming off them, so we're going to have to use our splitters here. They're essential to use. So sometimes you have longer cables and then you don't necessarily need the splitters, especially if you've got a motherboard that's got plenty of headers and stuff on it. And so these are fairly simple. You can start to sort of thread them with your fingers.
Tim?
Yeah.
George says hi there, Tim, Christine.
Hey George, how you going? Good to have you with us.
It's like quiet on the chat tonight.
It's very quiet tonight. Very, very quiet. Okay. Alright, so this is our splitter cable. It does have a daisy chainable header there as well, but we don't really need that. Alright, so that's our two fans RGB installed there, and now we'll do the same for the splitter here. The splitter is a little bit, oh no, it's just the same thing. It's a daisy chainable cable there, PWM cable. That's kind of cool. They're not normally daisy chainable like that. Okay. So with a bit of luck, none of that will have to be tied down. You can just sort of push it up the back there. Yeah.
George wants to know, where do I pick up lazy scissors in the size that you have? Doing a search only comes up with maybe 300mm size.
I went
It's
to
one of those kitchen
I went to a
places.
boutique kitchen not outlet, a boutique kitchen retailer in a affluent suburb. It was in a shopping centre there.
Do you remember the
I
name
don't
of the
know the
store?
name of the store, but it was a boutique kitchen store. So like, not a chain place or anything like that. It was some, independent business there, but they had a whole range of everything.
There's a name engraved on it. Can you read it? I can't read it. Alex Liddy?
Alex Liddy? I don't know. Okay, well, our cooler is all ready to go now, so we'll turn our attention to the case. So we got this nice panel here. It's really nice. It opens and closes really well. Okay. So we got USB. You got USB 3. Oh, it doesn't have C on this board. Oh, that's a shame. Okay, so you can just sort of run your cables down the lip there on the side, and you'll have everything at the bottom there. These fan cables here. Things aren't too crossed over or anything like that. You should be able. You should be able to just put one cable tie around that group of fans there. Oh no, my pliers are out in the car. But yes, so basically very, very good for cable management here in this case. It doesn't require too much messing around with, and that's what you want. You want it to be neat, but you don't want it to be overly complicated, because as soon as something happens, you just make more work for yourself. Alright, that's our power supply. Now I think we'll need to add a couple more of these little offsets. Always want to make sure that you get this right. If you don't have all the offsets in place, you run the risk of damaging your motherboard when you plug in your components, because the board will bend where there's no offset there to support it. Okay, so that's all good. We've got panels that pop out. We've got a pre-installed I/O shield. Okay. Okay. All right.
How big is this Lazy Susan that you've got?
60 centimeters, I think. If you want to measure it, just going to test how good my eye is at guessing measurements. Yeah. 58 centimeters. But yeah, they'd probably call it 60 centimeters because it's like so close to that. Sweet. Okay, so that's the CPU. Alright, so we're definitely going to need that. We're not going to need... Yeah, we actually don't need any of these cables. All of these are not in use, so we're just going to stick a cable tie around these ones, and they can get tucked away at the back there. Well, we did need one of them, but we can plug that in. It's just the cable for the controller there. Okay. Alright, so this USB 2, this is for our addressable screen. Oh, they love a good helicopter in Wynnum.
You're a helicopter, 50 million people get on the Facebook group. Oh, what's going on? Oh, why is there a helicopter?
There's some very...
They're very precious.
Yeah, very troubled boomers, usually.
Subby Schooler says, good to see you doing more builds again.
Yes! The whole industry has had a downturn, and so if you didn't know the story, I've cut my advertising right back because just wasn't getting the return from it, so that's why you haven't seen as many builds here. If you don't know, I spend quite a lot on advertising to make Tim's PC a thing. But I do monitor all that quite closely, and yeah, basically I won't continue to spend money if I'm not getting the return from it. It's that simple. So, and it's not just me, it's a whole, it's a economy wide thing. It's, you know, it's not hurting, you know, say the food sector. Like, you know, people are still spending lots of money on groceries, for example. But people aren't going out as much, and people aren't spending as much money on tech and stuff like that. Obviously, end of financial year now, so there's definitely some sales coming up for Tim's PC over the next couple of months. But yeah, those high interest rates are having an effect. So hopefully the end is nigh. So alright, so what else have we got?
So this was a total contrast to COVID times.
Yeah, 100%. But this is what happens in any economy. If you track what happens when there's a sales bubble, you know, there's always a big spike, but after the spike, there's always a downturn. So things will start to normalize again. Like, that's fine. But yeah, there's a lot of places that aren't in business anymore in this industry that were a thing during COVID, but they've all sort of moved on by this stage. So yeah, hopefully we'll still be around. But yes, I mean, that's always been at the back of my mind, because I'm very much aware that this industry is very hard to make a full-time living in. People think, oh, there's PCs, oh wow, blah 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 blah, but the margins in selling PCs and stuff like that, it's really low. So it's high dollar, low margin. So yeah, and it's an industry where you can't just reliably go and buy a heap of stock. You've got to be onto it, basically. You know, you've got to turn over the stock that you have quite quickly, because if you don't, all that stock's just going to depreciate. And unfortunately, that's the way that a lot of PC places go broke. So I don't carry much stock at all. Why should I take that risk? I'll let the distributor do that for me. They've got the scale, and they also know exactly what I'm talking about, and they buy all their stock strategically, so I don't have to. Okay, that's good, that's good, that's good. We are all coming along pretty well. They sure are.
I thought so. I'm like looking at it, I'm like, they look kind of bigger than the one on the back.
Yes. So airflow's pretty balanced. The two 140s and then 3 120s with 2 on a radiator. Airflow's going to be more or less balanced there. Those 2 140s on the front will push in a nice solid draft of cool air over our graphics card. Okay, graphics card time. What's up?
I was just laughing at you.
Well, the packaging, yeah. Alrighty. My screwdriver needs to be remagnetized, so that's why shit's dropping all over the place. Okay. So, have I put it together correctly? Is it going to blow up? Did I kill the motherboard by it slipping out of my hand before?
I doubt it. The cooler's on.
That's a good sign. I hooked the cooler up correctly. There we go.
There's a piece of plastic in
All right, I think.
there. Yep.
Yep. Okay, so we had a BIOS for this already, didn't we? For this motherboard, same as the other night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Okay. Get the latest BIOS on that. While that's doing that, I'm going to get my pliers. Okay. Alrighty. Yeah, I'm trying to zoom in on
Pull it up a little bit. Yeah. Get shorter. Chop you off at the ankle.
I'll just sit in my chair like this.
No, don't do that. Sit up straight.
Stop slouching!
Is that room to like side mount a cooler or something?
Yeah, so there's 2 extra fan mounting positions behind that blanking panel that's there.
No, yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay. Where are we?
Fluffy now.
Wasn't liking talking to my SSD there. Let's try that again. Oh, what have we got here? One of those drivers that I went to install caused that. Oh, okay. Security. Interesting. It doesn't like my SSD. Alright, well, I'm just going to keep going from where I was. Same error there. It's really not liking my SSD here. Look at all this.
And now you got.
And then I get another blue screen. The fuck?
Broke it.
Apparently. Oh God.
What?
Looks like Windows didn't load correctly. Shut up, restart. Alright, I'm gonna just try and install the NVIDIA driver. Error. That's so weird. Well, let's try some other stuff. Let's see what happens. I mean, I can just download the NVIDIA driver direct, but it's so weird. I mean, if you've been watching this, you know that my SSD here in this enclosure is pretty old. So I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if yeah, if it is sort of getting to the end of its life. I mean, it gets used like nearly every day for the last 4 years. Oh, look at that. Even those items didn't copy over correctly. Let's give this one last try. Come on, work.
And it fails.
I'll take the NVIDIA drivers installing. If we could just do that, that'd be awesome. It's looking a bit better now. that looks like our graphics drivers. Okay. So I mean, all I've done is unplugged it and plugged it back in again. All right. Let's give these drivers another go. So how are we looking? Are all of our drivers installed? There's a couple of things that aren't there. Alright, I'll take that as a win. Let's restart. Really? It's weird. I thought I'd have a LAN driver there. Wi-Fi's there. Okay. So everything's coming along pretty good. Yeah, to run some gaming benchmarks soon. There we go. Look at that. Now we've got a LAN cable. Alright. Okay. So we can go ahead, while that's going on, we can go ahead and run our gaming benchmarks. So Heaven, high, no anti-aliasing. Oh. Oh, there's a problem. Our DirectX drivers for Riva Tuner. Here we go. Whenever you're ready, Windows. Pancake time. Okay, so it's finally deciding to do something. Oh no, it trolled me. It trolled me. What is taking it so long? Literally the screen just timed out then. Seriously? At what point do I just tap on the reset switch? Oh, look, there it goes. What a pain in the ass, right? Okay. Alrighty. So we got our custom display going on there. Very good. Okay. Oh. Now we can run some gaming benchmarks. So Heaven on high, no anti-aliasing. Alright, there we go. So all this stuff on the screen, GPU at the top there, that's our graphics card. Temperature, usage, clock speed, wattage. Mem in green, that's our VRAM usage and clock speed. Got our CPU temperature, usage, clock speed, wattage. Got our RAM usage, and this number below RAM, that's how many frames per second it's currently running at. Alrighty, so that was Heaven there on high with no anti-aliasing. Alright, so we'll do Valley now. So Valley is more demanding, and we're going to also run it on higher settings. Alright, so that was Valley there on Ultra with max anti-aliasing, and then finally we do our superposition benchmark there. Before we do that, just make sure everything's all coming along on this end. Okay, superposition 4K. Let's give this one a whirl. Oh, sorry about that, guys. I'll start that one again, because apparently something made it crash. Okay. Alright, so let's set up our stress test. So we let this one run for 90 minutes. There we go. And then we just log our temperatures while we're running it. Make sure nothing's getting too hot. And of course it's running completely fine, nice and cool. Same with our graphics card. But we'll let this one run for an hour and a half and let the system get all warm and stuff like that, and hopefully if we've got a problem, it dies while I'm doing the stress test. Yeah, that's pretty much the idea of it. So yeah, because it's a pain in the ass when I ship them off to a customer and then they have a problem very, very quickly. That's what we try to avoid. But with technology, you can't be 100% certain of anything. Okay. Well, yes, I think that's probably where we'll leave it for tonight. It's getting a bit late now, so let me just come back over to the main camera. So, thanks everyone for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you all in the next video.